Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. And today we're taking a look at the total altcoin market cap that I've got right here on the screen. But of course, we'll peek over there at the Bitcoin price chart, the Ripple XRP price chart, a couple other different altcoins. As we can see over there, Cardano is really popping off. But in this video, I actually wanted to go through a lot of the things that we talked about over the last several months. Obviously, we've had a lot of price action, green to the upside over the last several weeks, but we spent the last couple of months trying to build the case that this is what would happen. And so what I want to do is go back and review those things that we looked at from different charts in the past, what happened, and how are we following along right now? Because right now, these prices just keep going up. Look at that market. It's just practically a complete green straight line up. There's been no opportunity for re-entry for all those who were screaming we were in a bear market at the bottom and sold the bottom. They haven't been able to get back in. Are they going to get an opportunity to get back in, or will they get left behind? And so I think it's a good opportunity for us to take a peek at the things that we were looking at about a month ago to see how we're doing right now. One of the key charts we continue to look at during this time period has been the XRP price chart. In particular, really taking a peek back here at this massive 65% correction that happened midway on the way up. Some of the things we really focused on during this time period was that there was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we saw that there was a kind of a double bounce sideways capitulation that ended up occurring. After the capitulation, which did set a new low over here, we could see that in our pullback, we did not go back and set a new low. We were able to continue this even into this pullback. We also saw that when we were looking at XRP during this time period before it went off into this blast, as well as that it had the exact same style event happen, where there was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rolls over, and capitulation. Let me get that out of there. Then bounces up, comes back, but does not set a new low here. However, this low down here went below there. I know there's people who watch in the car. Sorry, I can't say the prices on those because we're talking about too many different things. You have to look at the charts to see that. But we could see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rolls back up, capitulates to a new low, bounces, and then doesn't set a new low. And then off into a bull run it goes again. So we had this happen here in late 2017. And we had this actually happen in mid-2017, right back in here. This has been what we've been looking at over here on the total market cap of crypto. Been seeing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gets your double bounce, rolls, capitulates, and then doesn't set a new low. Same exact thing. We see the same structure happening over here on XRP, the two rolls with the sideways, the capitulation, then not setting a new low below here, and then moving its way up. Same thing goes for Dash, big fall, double bounce, sideways, capitulation, setting a new low below here, but not setting a new low here. And well, we saw that in the total market cap of all of crypto as well. Same exact thing. Rolls over, sideways, capitulation, doesn't set a new low, and then off it goes. Now, the interesting thing about this, when we look back at XRP and what occurred during this type of correction, this exact same thing, this exact same phenomenon, is once this thing broke out and started going to the upside, it never provided an opportunity for re-entry. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen right now, but we know that's what happened right there. There was no opportunity for re-entry right there. Same thing at the end of 2017, no opportunity for re-entry. And if we look at Cardano, one of the coins we've been talking about, same structure, right? There it is. You got your double bounce, your rollover, your capitulation. Comes up one more time, but doesn't set a new low over here. And then now it's just going and going. It's dangerous for me to come on here and say, hey, there's no opportunity for re-entry, because essentially that's saying you have to buy into a big fat green line if you're sitting there on the sidelines. I don't ever tell you when to buy or sell. I'm not going to tell you to do that. And I'm not telling you that it's going to go up in a straight line. However, we have the exact structures that played out in here that we had been looking for during this whole time period. We even used IOTA as an example from back in 2017 to show that same structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Two big rolls, sideways, capitulation, and then it comes back down one more time without setting the new low. We went into detail on this on at least 3 different videos, and then we saw how it came out and then never provided an opportunity for re-entry. So are we in that time period? I sure hope so. I really hope that's where we're at right now, because that's what all the structures are showing. It's how IOTA played out in the past. It's how Coin played out in the past. It's how XRP played out in the past, that we had this specific type of correction, which we see littered throughout all of the cryptocurrency market in our current times right now. And we see it happening over here in the total market cap of the altcoins and the total market cap of all of crypto, is that it's just grinding to the upside, providing no opportunity for reentry, doing exactly what we saw happen in those previous cycles for those different altcoins. But when we look at like XRP, right, I'll take this stuff off here, but this is that mid-cycle one back in 2017. What did we notice happened right in here? We noticed that it came up to that 702 Fibonacci retracement, and then it really just got stuck under here again. So it really kind of held underneath it for a while. Then once it got through, off and away we went. We can see that for IOTA during this correction. I just showed you a few seconds ago that it went off into a big run right there at the end of the year. What happened in here? It just kind of kept grinding its way up. It really had to work through here. I'm going to come back to that in a minute, but it had to work through here quite a bit, got up into these retracement areas, and this was where the real battle took place, right? And finally, once it really cracked through right there, and you can see it was just like a clean break that happened right in here through the 702, and it was gone. But once again, there was some resistance that happened in here, and we had some resistance for XRP back in here as well. And like I was just showing over there on the IOTA chart, this is kind of where we are with the total market cap. So is there still going to be some more working around in here? I'm going to go with the expectation that yes, there will be. Hopefully not, but yes, I'm going to presume that there will be. But either way, if we do the same thing that we saw happen over there in IOTA, we saw happen in XRP over there, is that you would expect that there would at least be some type of stopping point coming in pretty soon. And can you believe we're almost all the way back up there? We're above the 50% retracement. This market has now risen since July 21st, right in here. This market has risen 67%, and we're now only 14% away from the 702 Fibonacci retracement. But either way, one would expect that there's going to be resistance that happens in here, because that's what this structure, this correction, has showed in the past. If it's going to go in a straight line up to get up into these retracement levels, there will be some working out in here. And just from a time perspective of what those other ones look like, it would probably last for the entire month of August. You would assume that it would have to work through in here, presuming that it continues to follow that type of correction structure, and that this isn't just a retrace in a bear market, right? Everybody's screaming it's a bear market. Well, we have to get through these areas first to confirm that it's not a bear market. Otherwise, in yesterday's video, I showed exactly what happens in these retracements. Everything is dependent upon what happens at these retracement levels. But the structure that we have happening in here is exactly what the previous structures looked like before the market went absolutely ham. So I'm placing my bets on that we are going to get through. Additionally, I've continued to bring up what the correction structure looked like for Bitcoin back in October and September, right? Showing that it was an identical structure that happened in here, that we're lining up just like that. You can even see that on here as well with that same structure. It really had to work out the retracement levels before it was able to break out. Now, we've also talked about other things over the last couple of weeks, as well as last week I brought up how Cardano was doing precisely what Litecoin did back before it went off into its big final push, which is what I've really been looking for in this market, that there's just one more big gigantic push that happens in the market, then that's the end of the bull market and we go off into a long bear market, right? But looking for that big giant push, and well, we saw that Cardano was mimicking precisely what happened with Litecoin back in 2017. And one of the arguments I was making in my video is that Litecoin was a leader. It was one of the first altcoins to really go off and go crazy. And it was at the very end of Litecoin's bull run, right when it topped, was the moment that XRP took off. And the case that I was building during that video is that, of course, I'm trying to find aspects of the whole market that are showing that we're bullish, or at least confirm or deny the bias that I have that the market is bullish. And Cardano being so complicated, of being stuck up here at this all-time high, didn't make a whole lot of sense. But if you haven't watched that video, it does make sense. And that Cardano would potentially be one of the leaders. And sure enough, Cardano is really moving. And in that, when we saw in 2017 with Litecoin that it did take a stab to break out of these all-time highs and went up and hit that 1.618 Fibonacci extension, then got completely rejected by it on its attempt to break out. And that's precisely what we saw happen over here with Cardano, that it went and stabbed at that 1.618 Fibonacci extension and then got rejected and jammed back down into these price levels, just like what happened with Litecoin. And well, it's nice to see it's starting to really get moving. But again, I would expect there's probably going to be consolidation. But of course, I will celebrate there not being. I'm more than happy for it to continue going up because, like I mentioned, I am long this market. If it wants to go flying, go flying. But like I mentioned in yesterday's video, we're at that super caution area, right? For me, at least. I sit here and I say, okay, this is the caution area as we now get into the retracement levels. This is where all decisions get made, right? Is the market going to roll over on itself or is it going to break upward? My bias is that it's going to break up and keep going upward. That's how I've placed my bets. That's how I've made my investments and my speculative entries. But historically, throughout history, that has been a very critical spot that has rejected markets. So it has to get cleared through. And well, one other thing, the thing we keep talking about, the double tap back test into the bull flag for the total market cap and for the total altcoin market cap, and how it has held, and it did go to that price level, and look at that, it is completely bouncing out of there. So that is phenomenal as well from a bubble structure, because that's what you have to assume when markets start getting crazy. And I know this looks like a bubble pop, I know it looks like one, but that's just because of the time preference that we're using. When you zoom out a little bit, these things can get extravagant. That's why we look at it on the log scale most of the time on this channel, to have a better perception of what has happened in here, and that we're still on top of the all-time high, and that it did hold. It did have a double tap back test into the bull flag, and it has broken out. So it's looking great to me for here for the total market cap as well. And well, XRP, looking good, man. Just doing what the rest of the market is doing, grinding its way up, now at 91 cents. So you can't get mad at that. It's just doing what the rest of the market is doing until it's not, right? So that's one of the things I talk about on my channel a lot, is that when we get to the very end of the cycle, there's a lot of rotation that happens in there. There's a lot of leaders that go, there's a lot of laggards that go. Litecoin topped almost a month before XRP did in the 2017 bull run. So you have to take that into consideration. At least I have to take that into consideration when I think about this market and how everything is going to play out, that it's most likely not just going to be one day where I sit there and I say, all right, time for me to exit all of my stuff now, but that it's going to have to be kind of rotated out, that the money flows throughout the whole market, and it starts in one place and it pulls out of that one and it goes to another place and it goes to another place. And that's how this market has always worked. And in the past, XRP was kind of that last one where all the money just flowed right into XRP at the very end. So I'm happy to see that it's still following along with the market. But of course, we haven't reached that moment where something crazy is happening right now. One of the things we've talked about with XRP is it has mimicked exactly what Bitcoin's correction did back in 2013, 14, and 15, except it did it in a matter of 3 months. So is it going to slowly grind its way out of there until it finally just pops? Or are we going to see what we typically see happen in here? Hey, it's going to go all the way back up to the 702 retracement, pause in here, and then boom, away it goes. I don't know. Something tells me we'll have to wait for the timed news to come out. But otherwise, XRP looks just fine to me. It's doing exactly what the rest of the market is doing. It held that low on the double bottom. Looks good. I think the thing that would be really annoying in this market, and I'm not predicting that this will happen, but these are one of the things that do happen, is like what happened with Bitcoin back in this previous bear market. And this is very normal of a structure to occur, is that you have your crash, retrace, reaccumulation, and then you break out. So I'm hoping for this. This structure, from what we've seen with all those other coins, says this is how it plays out. But I keep that in the back of my mind. It's very possible to have a retrace, reaccumulation, and then breakout. But otherwise, we spent months talking about this right in here, what happened with XRP, the big 5 waves down, the big double bounce, the sideways, the capitulation, and then not setting a new low, followed by a big move up. And well, that's exactly what we're seeing happening here in the market. And I'm just wanting to kind of follow up with that to show that capitulation, no new low. And look at us go. And not to mention, I've spent a lot of time on this channel discussing that crypto is heavily tied to what's going on in the stock market. And we saw that the Dow Jones had a really big pullback right back in here on May 10th that kept it down for quite a while. And today, it's officially breaking out into new all-time highs. So we're looking good out there in the market, guys. It's all following along. It's looking good. But as I mentioned in yesterday's video, we're now coming up to that big critical moment where we're going to get back to those big retracement levels, the 618, the 702, and the 786. And we're going to have to see how this market performs as it gets back up in there and what these altcoins do and what Bitcoin does. And this is our big, big moment. History shows that in these types of moments, it does pause here for quite a while, which would be probably at least a couple of weeks if it does. So that's going to be kind of that stressful time period if it does do that, because like we're talking about in here, I've showed all the examples of how the market rolls over at that price level. And then I've shown all the examples of how it breaks out and goes all the way up. So we're going to have to sit there paused potentially for weeks waiting for it to happen. But I've built up the cases strong enough that my conviction is set that even if there's a little pullback from right in there, I'm still going to hold on for dear life. And that's just my personal decision. Everybody's got to make their own decisions on how they're going to play their hand. That's how I'm playing mine. I'm holding on for dear life. But all right, guys, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. I wanted to kind of just review everything that we've talked about and how we're doing so far. So great Wednesday, right? Everything is green again. A lot of green days. This has been awesome. But okay, I'll wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. If you'd like, you could check out my website. This is bcbacker.com. This is a course that I put together where I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs and the different altcoin market cycles, tying them all together to show how the previous alt seasons have worked in the past, a lot of that rotation stuff that happens. I talk about my personal exit plans in here, and I talk about mathematics and percentages, and I teach you how to set up your own charts and your own indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. So you can look at your own charting and stuff. I did include an update in here recently on July 31st, right down in there. It's available to anybody enrolled in the course and anybody who newly enrolls in the course, and you can get access to all of this right here by signing up at bcbacker.com. You can also follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching my channel. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.